Alright, so now we've wrapped up our audience compositing asset, and we've also got our stadium compositing asset complete. I'm going to take a detour from compositing shot 3 and go ahead and get shot 1 composited, because we only have our stadium and our audience in shot 1, so we have both of those components ready. So I'm going to jump up, I'm going to create a new image network, and I'm going to rename that to shot 01. Let's jump down inside, and I'm going to get our time range set for shot 1, so that's going to be starting at frame 1 and ending at frame 220. I'll set my frame over to frame 1. So we're going to need to bring in an instance of our stadium compositing asset and also our audience compositing asset. So I'm going to push tab, come up to digital assets and grab our stadium comp, enter to drop that in. I'm going to push tab, come up to digital assets and grab our audience comp, enter to drop that in. And we're going to need to go ahead and browse to our shot 1 sequences for the various components. So bleachers top diffuse for our stadium. I'm going to browse, jump up, jump into shot 2, down to stadium and grab our bleachers top. We need to get our shadow for the bleachers top for shot 1. So I'm going to jump up, jump into shot 1, down into the shadow folder, grab our bleachers top. And we can see our shadows come in. I need to grab our bleachers bounce for shot 1, so I'm going to jump up, jump into shot 1, jump down into our stadium and grab our bleachers bounce. I'm going to turn off main spotlight since we don't need to use main spotlights in this particular shot. And I'm going to bring our attention over to the audience. So for bleachers top, let's grab our diffuse sequence for the audience. So I'm going to jump up, jump into shot 1, into the audience folder and grab our bleachers top diffuse. I'm also going to grab our shadow sequence for the bleachers top for shot 1. So shot 1, shadow, bleachers top. Let's get our bleachers bounce for the audience for shot 1. So I'm going to jump up, jump into shot 1, audience, bleachers bounce. And our rim lights for the audience for shot 1. So diffuse. Let's grab our rim light diffuse. And I do need to make sure we jump into shot 1 before we grab that. So shot 1, audience, rim light diffuse. And then jump up and grab our specular for the rim lights. Now before I do, you'll notice that on shot 1 we do have that ambience pass that's a special pass just for shot 1. So we're going to need to bring that in and composite it with our audience as well. So let's just grab our rim light specular. And I'm going to wire our audience comp into a new add comp, where I'm going to be adding in our ambience. And I'm going to bring in the file for our ambience. So I'm going to push the backtick. And in shot 1 audience, I'm going to bring in our audience ambience diffuse, which if you recall is our ambience. So I'm going to wire that into the add for the audience add ambience. Now that we've got that in place, we can go ahead and get this wired into a layer and layer the audience over our stadium. So I'm going to create a new layer comp. I'm going to wire our stadium in and then our audience over our stadium. Fantastic. So all that I want to do for the rest of this video is tweak various settings on our assets so that we can get the lighting looking as close to what we'd like as possible. So I'm going to start off by decreasing the background weight on the ad and also making sure that we uncheck the alpha on the mask for the ad. I'm going to decrease the background weight, and that background weight is for our ambience pass because we really don't want that to be too intense since it is an ambience pass. It's not supposed to be a main light that's going to flood with too much lighting. So I'm going to decrease that slightly. I'm then going to come up to our stadium comp, and I'm feeling that the bounce light especially is way too strong on our stadium, so I'm going to decrease that down considerably. With our bleachers top light, I'm feeling it's a little too strong, not too bad, so I'm going to decrease just a small amount from that. And then in terms of the rest of our audience, I'm going to decrease the bounce light on the audience as well. So something like that's going to work for me. You may wish to go in and use color correct cops to change the colors on various different branches of your network, and you may wish to spend a lot more time getting the lighting looking perfect. Again, this is just a training DVD where the purpose is to teach you the basically workflow of compositing things back together and not so much the artist side of tweaking values for half an hour. So with that, that's going to wrap up the first part of compositing shot 1. In the next part, we're going to bring in our depth information, use that to do a depth of field, and also use it to darken the rear areas of our audience. So thanks a lot.